trapped near the Egyptian border in Gaza. A Medway family is begging the United States for help. Abood Okal, Wafaa Abuzayda, and their one-year-old son Yousef were visiting family before the Hamas attacks on Israel that killed more than 1,400 people last month. Now they're under constant bombardment from Israeli airstrikes in Gaza, where nearly 8,800 people have been killed since the fighting began, including 3,400 children. That's according to the Gaza Health Ministry. Nearly a month into the war, Abood and his family are running out of food, water, and medicine as they try to flee the fighting. They're among several hundred Americans trapped in Gaza, and they've tried crossing the border into Egypt several times, following instructions from the State Department. Each time, they were turned away. But a new development has given the family reason to hope. The Rafah border crossing, where the family is staying, has been temporarily open to let some refugees and aid workers escape. For more on Abood and his family's situation in Gaza, I'm joined by family friend and attorney Sammy Nabulsi. Sammy, thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So you heard from them today. I've been WhatsApp messaging with Abood a little bit. How are they doing?
Not great. Their circumstances continue to be extremely dangerous and dire. Abood was telling me this morning that they ran out of drinking water again for the entire house. They're staying in a single-family home with 40 other people. They ran out of drinking water, and he had to walk a few hours just to find a clean drinking water source. They're only able to walk away with 1 gallon of water for the entire house of 40 people. Complicating things today, of course, is the news that the Rafah crossing opened for foreign nationals, but United States citizens were not on that list, despite communications they had received from the State Department in the last 24 hours. So this up and down on top of their dire circumstances, trying to access water, food, fuel, medicine, it's extremely unfortunate.
Yeah, so that was a list that Hamas released of about 500 people who are allowed to cross through from the area of Gaza, like southern Gaza, where they're staying.
That's right.
Your relationship with them, you're a family friend, and my understanding when we started talking, you're an attorney, so I was like, oh, you're their attorney, but this isn't your area of expertise, really. You're a real estate attorney, right?
Yeah, this is not the work I do. I'm completely overwhelmed and frustrated. I'm frustrated. And the reason I'm so frustrated is this family has done everything they've been asked to do. They've been in contact every day with the U.S. embassies in Cairo and Jerusalem. They've been in contact with the State Department every day. We've been in touch with every U.S. senator in Massachusetts, congressional delegation. They fled northern Gaza after the Israeli Defense Force mandated the evacuation to the south. And they've gone to the crossing now on 3 occasions at the instruction of the State Department, and at every turn, the United States hasn't been there for them. They're still in Gaza. They're still under constant bombardment. They're still going hungry. They're still going thirsty. And I, frankly, don't know what to do next. It's not my area of work, but I don't know what else we can do for them.
You've contacted several members of Congress. You've been in touch with the State Department. What do you hear back when you've made these requests?
I'm getting the same thing, which is that everyone's trying hard to figure it out, and the situation continues to be complex and fluid. My problem now that I'm having is we just watched hundreds of foreign nationals from other countries cross safely into Egypt today. And as of this moment, the Okal family, Abood, Wafaa, their 1-year-old son Yousef, they've received no information about a departure option safely into Egypt. We still don't know whether it's going to happen, when it's going to happen, or if it's going to happen.
I wanted to play this clip. Abood has been sending me these voice memos, sending them to you as well via WhatsApp when he's had cell service, when it's possible. He also mentioned that, when he goes out to talk on the phone, Wafaa was concerned because some people thought because he was doing that he was Hamas, and so that was creating more danger. So it's been incredibly hard to communicate with them on the ground.
That's right.
I wanted to play, though, something from an audio message that he sent last week. He was talking about there are constant bombings and airstrikes, and he feels that they are just growing closer and closer and more intense every single day.
Fear controls us, and no matter how strong one can be, fear for our lives, but most importantly, Yousef's lives does get to us in these times.
And Yousef is their 1-year-old son.
Right.
Who has become traumatized by this experience. I mean, they've said that he's really changed, and I don't know that he understands what's going on, but
I don't know that he does. The thing that I worry about Yousef now is that he's completely traumatized. Abood was telling me that at first, every time there were airstrikes or bombings, that would wake him up in the middle of the night. But now, Yousef, who's only 1 year old, is now waking up in the middle of the night screaming, inconsolable, even during periods of calm. Even during periods of calm. That kid is completely traumatized. And on top of it, remember, he's 1. His main source of nutrition right now is milk. That's his main source of nutrition. And 4 or 5 days ago, they ran out of milk. They've not been able to find any milk for Yousef.
And you're checking in with them every morning. Last time we spoke, you said you haven't been sleeping, every day. You wake up from 1 or 2 hours of sleep and you'll ask them how they're doing.
Yeah.
How has that been I mean, I know there's so many people here. We've got 500, 600 American citizens who are now trapped in Gaza, along with all the other foreign nationals. For the people at home, just trying to check in with limited communication that you have, how has that been?
It's hard, and it's really hard because given the circumstances, given the airstrikes every night that are getting closer, given the fact that they're having a tough time finding drinking water and food, every morning when I text them, I ask them, what's your food situation? Do you have water? Are the airstrikes getting closer? Have you heard anything from the State Department? I'm asking them these pointed questions, but really the question I'm asking every morning is, are you alive? And I'm just waiting. I'm just waiting for them to say something so we know that we now have another day to keep fighting, keep talking to senators, keep telling their story, keep talking to the State Department in hopes that someone finally prioritizes this issue and gets these families out.
A gate is controlled by Hamas, which is what the U.S. government has said repeatedly. They've blamed Hamas for the delay in getting American citizens out. Obviously, this list that was released of other countries, citizens from other countries that were able to be, that was released by Hamas. If the U.S. government is struggling with this and saying they're doing their best, I mean, what are you proposing that they do?
So there's been a couple things, right? One is the United States announced yesterday that they had entered into an agreement, 4-way agreement, mediated by Qatar. And that agreement was between the United States, Egypt, Israel, and Hamas. And that led to the creation of this list and the opening of the Rafah crossing for these foreign nationals. The one thing that I'm asking for, but I'm not seeing, is for the United States to prioritize the safe and immediate departure of U.S. citizens. If we're not at that table bargaining for the release of our citizens, what are we bargaining for? Who are we representing in those conversations? I don't understand how the United States walks away announcing an agreement, and then here we are today, foreign nationals from 8 countries that are not the United States are sending their citizens into Egypt. The second thing I've been asking for is if we can't figure out a way to get these families out, then we need to turn to our partner who we're providing money and weapons to and say no airstrikes in Rafah, at least until the Americans get out. No one will get back to me on that request.
Are you hopeful for this family?
I'm trying to have hope. I mean, I'm encouraged. I will say this. I'm encouraged by the fact that the Rafah crossing was open today, because that's the first time we've seen that, I think, since the beginning of the conflict, at least for pedestrians to cross into Egypt. I'm hopeful. I'm encouraged by some of the statements that have been made coming from President Biden and the Secretary in the last couple hours today. I'm hopeful that maybe there's a window here. Maybe there's a breakthrough coming. But at the same time, we've had 4 false starts before today. And I am still a bit concerned that as of this moment, the United States has not communicated to them or me about a departure option or even a timeline.
Yeah. Every time I talk to Abood, I think he's just trying to maintain, like you said, that sense of hope. And he mentioned in this other audio message that he sent that Wafaa always says that angels are protecting them, that they have a guardian angel. And they've a kind of guardian angel, I think, came to their door. He's been sending me pictures of this kitten that appeared and has become Yousef's best friend and is really like this one little thing that has made this 1-year-old have any kind of comfort or solace. I wanted to play this clip that he sent me about that.
Yesterday, out of nowhere, a kitten showed up at our front door and clearly belongs to someone. She had a collar on. We took her in, and Yousef loves cats. He loves animals. We have a dog back home in Medway, Lily, and she's staying with friends, luckily, looking after her. And so this kitten kept Yousef pretty happy, again, trying to shield him from all the trauma that comes with all the airstrikes.
I mean, just to think of them having a dog back in Medway and being trapped in this war zone is crazy to me, you know, and I don't know, like there's so many individual stories like this, right, and so much confusion, and to hear these big statistics about all of these deaths, it's so horrific, and it kind of takes, this just reminded me, I guess, of the humanity of it in a way.
Yeah, they're just your typical American family. They live in a suburb of Boston. Abood works for a pharmaceutical company based in Cambridge. They got a kid. They got a big backyard. They have a dog named Lily. They're U.S. citizens. They work here. They pay their taxes here. They vote here. There's no reason or explanation for why they're not in Massachusetts right now.
Okay. Sammy Nabulsi, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you.
Thank you.